there, and welcome back to Building the Boys. I'm Scott, and it's time for our weekly catch-up. So what I've been doing this week has been a good one. So this time last week, it was my birthday, which meant that I had a long weekend. It was gorgeous. And I've got an understanding wife. She let me do my thing, and I got to build a lot of models, and I had a blast. It was like swimming in chocolate. It was just model after model after model, and I really enjoyed it. So I got to catch up on some bits and pieces as well that I hadn't got round to. So I did the latest pack of Iron Man. That's up on the channel now, so you can go and see that. We are building the internals of the chest, so we're working on what's essentially going to be the shoulder bar, and a few other bits and pieces for him. But he's come along really nice now, and you can kind of see that we're heading towards the end, because I believe in the next one we do the internal shoulder pieces, and we start work on the back. So we will have a full torso very soon, which means we're just coasting toward the end now on Iron Man, which has been a grind. You can see me on my videos. I'm not, if you only know me from, say, Disney, Doll's House or Titanic, I'm quite enthusiastic on those. On the Iron Man ones is a very different Scott, because I tried to be upbeat about it, and it's been a lot better since we got past the legs. But honestly, spending 18 months just building the legs and the arms was a lot. It was just the repetition of it, and you don't get much in the packs, but it's nice to see it now finally taking shape. I think the frustration with Iron Man, and I think this is going to be true of any model that's a figure or a character, is you don't really see it grow. So the motivation isn't necessarily there. You just keep accruing bits. So I've just got a box full of bits where it looks like Iron Man's been hit with a missile and been blown to bits, and there's his head, there's his hand, there's his knee, there's his foot, so that's kind of what you get. There's his pelvis. So you've got these bits of Iron Man, and you can lay them out like an autopsy and see how he's going to go together, and that kind of helps. But the difference with, say, a car or a ship or a house is you see it grow. So the Disney Doll's House is huge, and we're barely into it. So we're like, well, I'll come to that in a bit, but we've barely got going, and it's massive already. And with cars, you build in the rolling chassis, and you sort of see it all build up. Whereas with the figures, it's build the wrist and put it in a box, build the hand and put it in a box, build the head and put it in a box. You don't get to see that thing growing, so it looks like a lot of your work and your time has been for nothing. It'll all come together at the end. It will. We're gonna all of a sudden have this giant Iron Man. But it is what it is, and that's the nature of the model, and it has somewhat soured me against doing another figure. I say that. I think I'd just be ready. If I did another one, I think I'd be ready for it. I think I was naive going into the Iron Man build, that there was going to be more to it than there was. I think if I'd have properly looked at it, I would have seen where there can't be a lot to do, and there never will be, I think, on any of these figures, unless it is an incredibly detailed thing, like the Optimus Prime that's coming from, I believe Fan Home. The Optimus Prime that's coming from them, I can see being a lot more detailed, because the nature of the beast, if you will, all of the parts are going to be a lot more intricate. So I can see there being a lot more to do in the Optimus Prime. Like the Terminator, I know I didn't build the Terminator, but I've watched a lot of the Terminators. And I can see there was a lot more to do in Terminator than there was to do in Iron Man. Now, there were some very sparse, kind of build issues in Terminator, but there was still a lot more to than Iron Man. I mean, a lot of Iron Man issues, there's a bunch of them that are under a minute. I mean, even the latest one I've just done, I think it was 50 seconds I did one of them in. It's that quick. It's that kind of... So yeah, I mean, it's something to bear in mind if you're going to build the Alien or the Batman or Optimus Prime or RoboCop or whatever it is, or Agora's got under that cloak. You got to be aware of how much you're going to get to do. Now, I'd build another one of these if it was through Agora. If I was getting like the 10-pack model they do, I think I'd be happy with that, because I think 10 is enough. I think if I had 10, I'd be quite happy with that. But I think when you're getting 4 and there's so little to do, your hobby becomes a chore, and I think that's my issue. And I think it's true of everyone. I mean, most people I spoke to about Iron Man say the same thing. You can't really move past the fact there's just not a lot to do. But it is what it is. But as I said with the Disney Doll's House, that thing's huge. Now, I haven't done it since our last catch-up, but, I mean, it's over there at the moment. It's massive. It's massive. And we're like 26 parts in. It's bloody huge. And we've got like nearly 100 to go. The thing's going to be gargantuan when it's built. Absolutely massive. And I can't wait. And that's a good motivator. That's a good thing that keeps going, because the beauty of the Doll's House build, now I know it's not for everybody, but the beauty of the Doll's House build is there are no uneventful issues. There are no, almost every single one you do has an impact. I think with the exception of there's I mean, not even that. There's one where you build a kite, but it still comes with windows for the house. So literally everyone you do has an impact. There are very few that don't really, you look at the house after and go, eh. They all have an impact. Whereas with some of the other fireworks we do, not so much. The other ones I've done this week, so I've done Route Master Pack 8, which was a lot of the electrics and the wiring, and that's looking good. That's looking really good now. I've not finished off the video of that. I will, and that will be up either tomorrow or Sunday. But then the birthday builds I did one which you can just see on this shelf up here. That is the time travel book nook from Row Life. It's gorgeous, gorgeous. So the video's up on my channel. I wanted to build a book nook for ages. I actually want to build one from scratch. I don't really want to build kit book nooks as such. I say that, I'll come to something else in a minute. I want to build one from scratch. And that's the beauty of the book nook. I mean, it's essentially a diorama. Diorama's been around for years. But it's just a contained, so you can slot it in a bookshelf. And I like that. I think it's a cute little, it's a tiny little world in a box, and I like that. There's a lot that can be done with that. So you could make these of anything. So you could make ones of movies, books, anything. You could make one of musicians, whatever you want. But just to contain it in that little box, I think is gorgeous. It's a lovely thing. And this one's particularly nice. It's got a clever optical illusion in it. It's got a train in it. And the way they've designed it is the back of the train looks like a carriage, which reflects into a mirror, so it looks like the thing just keeps going. It's really nice, and I can't recommend it enough. So if you're looking for something fun to do between your builds, it's a good one. The video's up on my channel. It's the Time Travel Book Nook. Check it out. It's nice. It's really nice. Gorgeous detail as well. There's so much detail in it, and it's a lovely build. It really was. And I think it was about 5 hours, 6 hours, I think, to do. But it was nice. It was really nice. The other one I built as well, which is just ridiculously impressed with, was that I was going to bring it up, but it's too big. Was the Flying Dutchman. So I wanted to build the cubic foam Flying Dutchman for like ever, but I just never got round to it. And my wife and kids bought it me for my birthday, and I had so much fun building it. It was way more complicated than I thought it was going to be. I went into it with a degree of arrogance, where I went in with the, oh, this is easy. This is, It's not hard. It's not difficult, but it is time consuming. I thought I'm going to blitz this. I'll have this done in 2 hours. Nowhere near. It took hours and hours and hours. But man, does it look good? It looks gorgeous. I got some pictures. Here you go. Here's some pictures of the Dutchman. That's it. That's the Dutchman. It's really nice. I mean, lit up and doing its thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful ship. I kick myself to this day that I didn't build Hachette's Black Pearl when that was around. I think it was 2015, 2017 maybe. Beautiful thing. It was gorgeous, and I kind of wished it had come back around. Hachette, typically it doesn't. I mean, this is the thing. Hachettes are kind of one and dones. Once they've had their full run, that's pretty much it. It's gone. I've not known them keep it on and you can start again. And a lot of the time the subscription just drops out. I think after X amount of months, there's no option to subscribe anymore. It's kind of done. So with Hachette, if something comes up, you jump on it if you want it, or you kind of hope and pray it ends up at Agora. So Hachette have got the Tumbler coming the start of next year from Batman Begins, so from the Nolan trilogy, the Tumbler. Right, I don't have a particular affection for the Tumbler. I do think, and I will maintain it, it's one of the ugliest Batmobiles there's been. It's not the ugliest. That thing he was driving in Batman versus Superman was just pug ugly. I don't even know what that was. I mean, think hard what it looked like. You can't. That's how forgettable that Batmobile was. It was a non-event. It looked like a dune buggy. It was just gross. But the Tumbler for me was just too big. It was like a tank. And I think which goes against the basics of Batman. I mean, it's supposed to be stealth. Now, I know a lot of his cars were gaudy, and like the one in Batman Forever is covered in fibre optics. You go, it's not really stealth, that Batman, is it? Like, I can hide in the shadows with my huge neon green lights. No. But the Tumbler in particular, like, that's a tank. So it's, but that said, it is a pretty model. I saw the people who build the test parts, and I'm like, man, and the wheels on it are nice. So I'm gonna get a few when it comes out. It's in the stores and make a decision, because I'll never say never, but when it comes out, I'm gonna get a couple of Tumbler issues to see how I feel about it, and you never know, I might do the Tumbler. But it is a pretty thing. Speaking of Batman, there are potentially 3 Batman part works heading our way. So we have the Tumbler, and then 2 of them we just don't know. Now, Hachette trialed a giant Batman figure. This thing was massive in France. It was weird, but it's like if you've seen the Alien that they're doing, and it's on the scale of the Alien and the Terminator than it is on the scale of Iron Man and RoboCop. Iron Man and RoboCop are more like maquettes. They're about so big. They're maybe 2 foot 18 inches. Whereas the Terminator and the Alien are around about 3 feet. And the Batman's the same. So the Batman's around about 3 foot tall. It's massive. But they trialed that. Whether or not that's going to go to a full run, I don't know. That could be what's under Agora's mystery cloak. So if you go onto Agora's website and you see models coming through in the last part of this year, they've got something under a cloak that looks like it's going to be a figure. Now, the only figures that haven't officially got a home yet that I'm aware of on the market are Optimus Prime, Batman, RoboCop, but I think that's almost definitely going to fan home. The Alien. So it's the Alien, Optimus Prime, and Batman are the only 3 that I'm aware of don't officially have a home. There's the Megazord from Power Rangers, and there is, for the life of me, I can't think what the thing's called. I want to say Gundam, but it isn't. It's a giant Japanese robot. Again, it's not something I have a particular affection for, but that is currently on a full run in France. It could be that underneath that cloak. It could be. I don't know. Or, I mean, it could be the Infinity Gauntlet. We might just be thinking it's a figure. It might not be. It might be something else. But yeah, so that is something coming from Agora. But the other Batman part work that exists but has no home brings us on to those those we don't speak about. The 66 Batmobile was supposed to be coming from Eaglemoss, but we don't know what's happening with Eaglemoss. I mean, it's fairly safe to say at this point that Eaglemoss, as it was, is gone. A lot of the staff from Eaglemoss are posting that they're looking for work on LinkedIn at the moment, which is pretty much a fairly solid indication that Eaglemoss in its current model is gone. But that doesn't mean that somebody won't buy the name, the brand, and run it as an offshoot of their own, a subsidiary of their own, or put their own people in. So one thing doesn't necessarily mean the other. But that 66 Batmobile has no home. It has nowhere to go. There's nowhere to put it out. But Eaglemoss don't own that. So that was something they'd licensed from the company that made it. So that license is now available. Now, I would imagine there'd have been something the ways were bidding war that was shopped around before Eaglemoss sort of won the license. So it probably will end up somewhere else. I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon, because any company that's going to want to do it is going to do their own marketing and all kinds of things. So you're probably at least a year away from ever seeing the 66 Batmobile. But it exists. We know that. We know that the parts were kind of made for it. They are out there in the world. The first, I think, 4 parts. So who knows? Never say never. These things, I find it incredibly unlikely that these models just die and they never see the light of day again. Whatever happens to Eagle Moss happens, but these models will find new homes, guaranteed. I mean, the DeLorean's been a great seller. And you think about it, if somebody could actually put some decent customer service behind it, put some reliability behind it, some consistency behind it, I'd have a DeLorean like that. I never built the DeLorean. And the thing that put me off was, even back when I was sort of choosing, I picked Iron Man over the DeLorean, and I'm very glad I did. In retrospect time. At the time I wasn't. At the time I was kind of pissed that I picked the Iron Man over the DeLorean, but now, so glad I picked Iron Man. But the reason I didn't is because even then it was spotty as hell. So I actually signed up to the DeLorean. It had been about 2 months, I hadn't received anything. And I'm like, you haven't sent me issue 1? And they contacted me, so they had no issue 1. They wanted to send me, I believe, 16, 32, 33, and 41 as my first 4 parts. And I said, absolutely not. And I cancelled there and then. Because that's insane. That's absolutely insane. In what world could that ever be considered as a viable option? So, I mean, the warning flags were there, you know? But if somebody like Agora offered the DeLorean, you know, and you could build it over 12 months, we'll send you X amount of parts each month, and over a year you can build DeLorean in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I'd buy that DeLorean in a heartbeat. And I can imagine other people would as well. So I can't see, with models as popular as the Ecto 1, as the DeLorean, as the Enterprise D, I can't see them finding homes somewhere. I can't see that not happening. So you're gonna be able to finish your models. When? I don't know, but I would say it's almost a definite that someone's going to take up these licenses. The Eleanor, I don't know. I always found that weird. Because, I mean, who gives a damn about Gone in 60 Seconds? That's one of the most forgettable films I think I've ever seen. I found that it's a beautiful car. Don't get me wrong, the car's beautiful. But it just seemed a very odd license. I would imagine it was a cheap license. But it was... yeah, I always found that odd that Gone in 60 Seconds got... You think about the iconic cars we've not had, yet the car from Gone in 60 Seconds, a fairly forgettable Nicolas Cage flick, gets a part work. It's amazing, right? One of the most... I saw a few people have asked me about it, and I've seen people talk about it as well. The A-Team van. Why isn't there a part work of the A-Team van? Because what are you going to build? I mean, if you think about it, what are you going to build? I get it. I completely get it. And I think it would sell. I genuinely do. But there's nothing in the back of it. There's literally nothing in the back of the A-Team van. The A-Team van was exactly that, a van. So once you've built the front chassis, what goes in the back? Nothing. It would just be a frame and some panels. There's nothing to the interior. So unless someone's going to do the interior, or some bright spark thinks, you know what, not every part work has to last 2 years. We could do a 50-issue part work. I'd be all over that. If they did a 1/6 scale A-Team van, but it was only 60 issues, I'd jump on that. Not everything has to be 100 issues, does it? You know, it's like, yeah, brilliant. So I could have that done in what, a year, 18 months? Yeah, I'd be all over that in a heartbeat. But because the model of the models seems to be everything's got to be 2 years, 3 years. Can't see the A-Team van happening. Don't do anything either. I mean, that's the thing as well. Whereas Knight Rider, you've got the flashing light on the front, and you've got the kit, and you've got, you know, it's nice. Ecto 1 had the sirens, and the DeLorean's got all the bells and whistles. And what does the A-Team van do? Nothing. I mean, this is the thing as well. I used to watch A-Team a lot when I was a kid. They're barely in the van, right? Typically, any A-Team was very formulaic. Typically, they didn't drive the van anywhere. They flew somewhere, so the whole plot device of having to drug BA to get them on an airplane. So they never really drove the van anywhere. There'd be like a scene with them in the beginning, and that was about it. Very rarely did you see a car chase involving the van, but we all remember the van. Strange, right? But that's the way it is. So I don't think we'll see an 18 van anytime soon. I could be wrong, but if we do, I'd like to see it at a reduced part count. You know, we don't have to fill the back with all this interior and all that stuff. So we could reduce the part count of this. You know, here's your van, because it is just a van it's hollow in the back. Do it in 80 issues. Do it in 60 issues. You know, give us an 18-month build. I'd love that. I'd jump straight on that. So I have got another book nook coming. So for next week, I do have another book nook. It's due to arrive tomorrow, because I am going to build all of the roll-off book nooks. There's 4 of them. I won't tell you which one it is. We'll leave that as a surprise. But I love these. I think I absolutely adore these, and I can't recommend these models enough. These wooden models from Row Life and Robot Time. If you've never built one, they're great. It's ingenious the way they work. From everything to the builds, the mechanics that go into it is just gorgeous, and they're fun builds. They really are. I can't recommend it enough. We have got Titanic due next week. I have had fun and games and shenanigans with Hachette's banking system updating. So providing everything goes okay there, Titanic will be arriving next week. We've got notification that another R2-D2 shipped. We've still got one here to catch up on, so we really need to catch up on R2-D2. I've had notification that Iron Man has shipped. So, and then speaking with Hachette today, I know that Disney Dolls House ships next week, so that'll be the week after. So a lot coming next week, a hell of a lot. A final word on Eagle Moss. We just haven't heard anything. We're 3 weeks in now, and radio silence. Just heard nothing. So there's nothing to report. I can't confirm anything either way. I can't say yay they're back or oh, they're gone. Can't say. There's still no statement on it. I don't know. The longer we go, the less likely it seems we're going to see a statement. But who knows? We'll soon know. I mean, the one sort of very early indicator is the Marvel movie figurines have appeared on I want to say Altair in France. So at least one of Eagle Moss's old properties has found its way somewhere else. Now, I know they'd already finished the license on that one. It wasn't still going. So the Marvel figurines were actually complete at Eagle Moss. I believe so were the WWE figurines. So it's not that hard to believe that those things, there was no contractual obligation there from any sort of maker for them to go elsewhere. But things are moving away from Eagle Moss by the looks of things. But watch your space. We'll let you know when we know. We'll tell you. If you haven't yet, please give us a like. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us massively. And in a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And we'll catch you on the next one.